Hello guys, hello my dear family, very good morning. So we are now going to see about the super trend indicator. Guys, this is a very good indicator. It is used by almost all the traders for a trend following. Trend following meaning like if the stock goes like this, right? And you can see here the there is a small correction here, but our normal human psychology states that whenever you see this, your mind thinks that the price will fall, so you might exit. But what super trend does is super trend will be a line like this in the bottom, okay, and it will change only when the stock price has crossed below the super trend. So this is how, so from this point onwards up to this point you can completely capture the move. Okay, so this is how your super trend works. Okay, and so we have seen what is a super trend. Basically it is a trend following indicator so that you don't need to panic. And how is the super trend calculated? Okay, so guys, super trend basically it has two things. One is called the length, which means that the number of candles super trend needs to look back and calculate and plot the graph. Okay, and factor, and super trend calculates the low of each candle. Okay guys, so now factor means it simply multiplies the low of each candle with the number which is the factor that we can specify. So super trend has only these two parameters guys. Okay, so now let us now go into trading time frames that the super trend can be used. Basically everything: intraday, swing, positional, and investment. Okay guys, so now I'll tell you the live example. Okay guys, I'm taking a uh, okay, I'm taking a chart of TCS. Okay, 115 minutes time frame. I'll show you with the different time frames how super trend actually works so that you can capture a better result whenever the super trend actually turns to, I mean, flips the color. Okay, so guys, how to add the super trend indicator? Same process. FX indicators, super trend, you just type, click it, and you will get the super trend indicator as I showed you, like how it will appear. The cap price is going like this, right? And the super trend indicator will follow something like this, right? So this is how your super trend indicator also looks like. Basically this is the default setting. The super trend indicator continuously calculates the previous 10 candles length, low length, I mean the low of previous 10 candles, and multiplies it by number 3. So the low will be moved by the 3. Okay, and now just observe guys, suppose if I change this input to say 50, just see the chart carefully guys in this place. Okay, so I change it to 10. You can see guys, right, the change. So if I change it to 100 for example, you can see how the super trend changes. So by default the length is 10 and the factor is 3. Okay, now if I change the factor to 1 also, super trend will become very close. Why? Because it is just multiplying it by 1, which is almost the same as the low. Okay, so by defaults the super trend indicator is set 10 comma 3. Okay, now how does this super trend work and how does it flip colors? Okay, so let me give you an example here. So you can see here, right, So until this point of time, right, the super trend indicator was in a uptrend, which shows that the candles are in upside of days. Before that, whenever the candles are above the super trend, it is in a bullish phase, or the trend is a uptrend. And whenever the candles are below the super trend, it is in a downtrend. Okay, now what has happened and why this has flipped? Because see, I'll mark you the levels here. So this is the level. Okay, so this particular candle, right, I'm talking about this particular candle, this has crossed this level, which means that the trend has changed. So super trend has also gone from green to red. Okay, this place. And until this trend is not reversing, okay, super trend indicator will continue to remain the same. As the price goes down, super trend will also recalculate here. And here what has happened, if you can closely observe, this is the level, right, of the super trend, which was in a sell trend. Now this candle, sorry, this candle has closed above the super trend. So now the super trend has also changed the color from red to green, indicating that this is in an uptrend. Okay guys, so you can see from here again this prices has gone up, and again here it has changed. Now you know the reason, because this candle has now, I'm sorry, not this one, this candle has now this particular red, the second red. Okay, this candle has crossed below this level, which indicates that it is, the market is now in a downtrend. And guys, as you can see here, from here the trend is continuously down. So super trend actually is helpful for us to give a confirmation, so that you don't exit in case you get this kind of red candles. So if you don't have this, say for example, what would you have thought? So the market would have gone down, so you would have exited. But with super trend, we have a confirmation that the trend is still up. That is the use of a super trend. So now we are in a 15 minutes time frame, guys. But let me tell you one thing. Okay, in a sideways market, right, super trend will give a lot of a false signal. Say if you can see, it changed color here, it changed color here also. This is one point, right, and this is another point. So market is in sideways, basically within a range. So super trend will not work when the market is sideways. That is the drawback of a super trend. But rest of the ways, that you, if you had entered based on super trend when the market is sideways, you would have got small losses. But trading is not a single day game, guys. So when the trend is really bullish, you could have captured the entire momentum, which would have covered your losses when you had entered in a sideways momentum. Guys, if you can see, I'll show you. Super trend changed in this candle. Okay, from this point onwards, until the super trend changed the color in this candle, say for example, you would have got 2.16 returns just in a single day, right? So now let me show you the power of super trend. If you go to a higher time frame, like a 1 hour time frame. Okay guys, so super trend has changed color here, which means this green candle, if you had entered here at the opening of the next candle, until the super trend changed color, right, you could have captured somewhere around 1.5%. Okay, and as you go up the higher time frames, say for example, if you go to a day time frame, just give me a minute guys, I'll show you. So here you can see this particular area, the super trend has changed color, right? So if you had entered somewhere around here, you would have captured somewhere around 16%. So as you go higher, you will get more returns, guys. But if you do a swing trading, you need to wait for the number of days until the super trend turns to it flips to the color. Guys, we don't really know when the super trend will change to color. So depending if you are an intraday trader or if you want to have hold a swing trading, you have to wait until, if you take as just with a super trend indicator, if you want to trade, you have to wait until the super trend flips color. Okay, so that is also one thing you need to have in mind. And just see this, guys. Now I'm on a weekly time frame on TCS, right? If you had entered somewhere around this level and somewhere you would have closed, you would have got 68% return, guys. But you need to wait for this many number of weeks. Okay, which is, if I click this, from this is from 6th of March to almost 1.5 years. You should have waited for TCS to give a 68% returns. If I go to a still higher time frame, a monthly time frame, which you can use for investment purposes, right, guys? I'll now show you the power, guys. See, super trend has changed color here, right? Somewhere around this level. If you had entered here, right, somewhere at this point, super trend changed the color only at this point. Guys, see the magic. What is the return here? 1102%, guys. Can you get it in an FD or even in a mutual fund? That is the power, guys. When you go up the time frame, so if you can see, this is the price, 294.5. From here it has gone all the way up to 3500, guys. So just 1000% returns, guys. Mind blowing, right? So now you tell me, will this neutralize your sideways losses when you had entered? Definitely yes. Even if you uh, kind of like take those losses into account, this would have still covered up your losses and made massive profits, guys. So now see, so but here this is from August 2009 up to 2025. So roughly you should have waited for 16 years, guys. So if you are prepared to wait on a longer time frame, you would have definitely got a much larger return. But if you want to do a kind of a swing trading, might be you can go with an hourly time frame or a 4 hours time frame, and you can see this. You could have got like somewhere around 1% or something. That is from 18th December, 8 days, guys, roughly 8 days. You would have got 1.45 returns, which is still, I would say much better than your bank fixed deposits. And even in this place, guys, if you had entered somewhere around here, you would have still got 2% return. So 6 to 13th October, which is like hardly 7 days. Within 7 days, you would have got 2% returns, guys. Let us now check in some other stock. Let us say which stock can we take? Okay, let us now take the stock of, say, Coal India. Okay, super trend will plot us exact way, guys. You can see here, this is in a 1 hour time frame. These are all sideways market, guys, because see, these are all sideways markets, and also these. But this is the drawback of super trend. But if you enter when a trend is established, you will get massive gains, guys, right? So I'll tell you, this is in a 1 hour time frame, guys. Okay, so if you had entered here and exited somewhere around this point, so August to September, like 29th August, almost end of August to 8 September, so around 10 days time, you'd have got 3.36% profit, guys. So which is, I would say, very good, because bank gives us like 6.5 to 7 percentage for the entire year, but here in 8 days you're getting 3.36 percentage, guys. So do you now understand why bank fixed deposits are not advisable? Because it cannot even beat your inflation, guys, right? So let us take the same coal India chart. Let us move up a frame here, guys. This one, can you see? Massive rally, guys. If you had entered somewhere around here, you would exited somewhere around this point. 84% within July to March, which is like 6 to 7 months of time, you would have got 84% return, guys. Right, so that is the power of a super trend. If you still want to, guys, I'll tell you a small trick. So for example, if you still want to capture a massive gains, right, you can increase this factor by say to 4. Now guys, you saw it was 84, right? Now let us check the same thing somewhere around 94%, guys. And still, if you want to like kind of hold for investment, if you change the factor to 5, guys, now see same place of entry, you're exiting somewhere around here, guys. 100% return, guys, which is from July 2023 to October. So 1.5 years you are getting 100% return, guys. So that is the power of super trend indicator. But now if you see, this is a sideways market, right? So now you tell me, this loss hardly negligible when you compare to 100% return here, guys? Yes, definitely, guys. So that is something that super trend indicator has the power, guys. And if I now change this to input of say calculated for 15 candles, right? The Now the entry starts here, pretty much almost the same, 96%, right, guys? So this is how you can use super trend indicator to get massive profits. But do not worry if you hit a sideways market also. As I said, it's a long-term game. You can get massive profits with super trend indicator. So guys, so we are done with live example as well. So guys, this is, with this we are concluding the indicator, I mean super trend indicator video. Please contact me in case of any queries. I will be really happy to help each and every one of you, or you can also ping me. Thank you guys. Have a great day.